Right, here we go. Perfect. All right, everybody. I am, for those of you who don't know me, which I know most of you do, but that's okay. I am Megan Vanoy. I am a dental hygienist myofunctional therapist. I started Northwest Myofunctional Therapy back in 2016. I was one of the first telehealth providers. I used to use Skype back in the day. And then upgraded to Zoom in like 2018. I did practice in person for about 1.5 years, but once my local people found out that they could just see me on Skype, they were like, yeah, we're not driving here anymore. So that's how I went full-time into virtual and then full-time myofunctional therapy in 2019. That's the last time I picked up any sort of scalar or instrument like that. I love Christmas sweaters. I'm wearing a Grinch one today because that's kind of the vibe. And then I have an almost 3-year-old, Isabel. She's the true star of the show. She's Grammy tonight, so you guys don't get to see her. I'm very, very sorry. But she is also to the point where she can't hang out and chill when Zoom's on anymore. So those baby days are over. They are over, but that's okay. So let's see. What else? What else, you guys? What else? I've taught in the myofunctional therapy space. I mentor. My signature course is Business Boot Camp, which started earlier this summer. We have several boot campers in here right now, so you guys can talk about like how cool it is. Feel free to throw it in the chat. Gosh, what else? My practice brings anywhere from about 15 to 25 new patients a month. I have 4 associates, maybe 3 right now because one's on maternity leave. And we work with patients all over the world. Oh, I co-host the Munch Bunch podcast. So if you listen to podcasts, I have the Myofunctional Therapy podcast with Kimmy. And then, yeah, kind of being in our world, there's several different ways to work with me. We've got our signature business boot camp, which the next round starts in January, which some of you are already in. I just created and soft launched a $7 a week membership for any sort of solopreneurs, like myofunctional therapists, occupational therapists, anybody who's trying to grow their business that has weekly training. So weekly training drops a week, either on making money, your mindset, marketing, or like motherhood. So those drop weekly. And then we have 2 times a month, I'm hosting a Q&A. So any questions that people have, you get to have a Q&A with me twice a month. So if that membership is something you might be interested, shoot me a message. Let's see, what else? What else did I do, you guys? We have a mommy mastermind with individual coaching. So several people in here have done individual coaching and group coaching with me. And then also we have a business bootcamp accelerated retreat in Puerto Vallarta the first weekend of May. So if any of those things shout out to you, let me know in the chat, or you can DM me if you want to get in on any of that. But tonight is not about any of those things because we have 17 days left in this month. There are lots of Christmas presents to be bought, things to buy for yourself, a little end of the year treat yourselves, right? So tonight I really actually want to chat with you guys about getting paid by the end of the year, having someone pay you and figuring out who that person is, how to get to them, and then also how to overcome kind of any fears or obstacles you might have about people paying you in December. There's a lot of, I always hear a lot of conversations around people telling me, oh, it's December, it's the end of the year, nobody wants to pay. I will tell you guys, the last 3, I was trying to go back and look and see if it was 4, but at least the last 3 that I know of, maybe even 4 Decembers have been in my top 2 months. So people pay in December, they pay all the time. We've already gotten about 15 referrals and it's only December 13th. We've got, I think, 8 evals on the books this month, and we're reaching out for the others. So people are coming in. All right. And so what I really want to help you guys focus on and get confident on is really, truly how to get paid by a patient by the end of the year. So we're going to talk about pretty much 3 big ideas, unless I like go off on some sort of tangent on something else. My plan is, if you know me, odds of me going on a tangent are high. But that's okay. Sometimes they're good tangents and we roll with it. So I want to spend maybe the next, 15, 20 minutes talking about the biggest ideas. I want to make sure that you guys have like paper, pens, anything to kind of take some notes on. Again, tonight's pretty casual. So no workbook for tonight because again, it's December and we're all just like getting through it, right? So, okay, in the chat, or if anybody wants to share, oh, Sherry has a new patient eval tomorrow. Yes, girl. Yes, you do. All right, see, Sherry's gonna get paid tomorrow. I have no doubt in my heart or brain or soul. So, what I do want to do actually, before we even talk about the ideas, I do want to know from you guys, what do you feel are the biggest hurdles that you're running into right now when it comes to getting patients, getting clients, getting people to pay you? Really, anybody paying you? You can say it, you can put it in the chat, but I want to be able to hit on the points that you guys maybe have questions about as well. We'll do a Q&A at the end, but if something comes up that like a fear or, feeling like you don't have the right referral sources or not knowing what to say,
I'd say it's referral sources. I just have a very small pool of offices that send to me, but it's not, I mean, I might, like from one office, I might get 2 referrals a month.
Okay. Okay. How many referrals do you want?
A month, I would love probably at least 10 referrals a month.
Yeah, totally. Why not? Perfect. Okay. So how many of you, just so I can kind of get a pulse on the room, how many of you are still working in hygiene as well? How many of you see hygiene patients every day? Raise your hands, put it in the chat. Okay, we've got a couple, we've got some. Yeah, Vita. I know you do. Okay, so some of you, good. All right. So, all right. First thing we're going to talk about is getting those. Yeah, let's talk about this first. Okay, so we are going to start with your warm audiences. Okay, so what is a warm audience in this context? So for me, in our space, in the myo space, kind of in our world, I would put kind of 2 different types of, maybe even 3 warm audiences. Okay, actually 3. We're gonna go 3. So the first one, all right, the first audience that should be warm to you, people that you should be able to reach back out to, are your referral sources. Okay, so the providers who refer to you on a daily basis or monthly basis, whatever that looks like. When's the last time you connected with them? When's the last time you stopped by and dropped something off? I know this time of year people get kind of like sick of goodies, but like, I don't know, bring them something healthy, whatever. But when's the last time you connected with them, right? Because we all know, like even tonight, right? You guys are gonna get off
When we're
this
doing
call.
homework and stuff. In a little bit, you
guys are gonna get off
by
this call.
6:30, you should be in the shower, and then we'll do homework. That's 15 minutes, okay?
Hold on. All right, you guys can unmute when you want to say something. There we go. Okay. So, right, so we've got your providers, right? How often are you talking with them? How often are you like following up with them? I know this is a super busy time of year, but if we're talking warm audiences, the people who already know you are going to be you're most likely to send you somebody, most likely to convert, right? And for those of you who are in hygiene, right? Are you talking to people every single day in your chair about what you do? Are you looking at those key indicators that we are always talking about, right? Are you looking at their old notes? Are you looking at their health history? Do you have anything available to them that they could fill out? Like we talk a lot about RAC cards and referral cards and boot camp, but anything they could even just fill out while they're waiting for the doctor, while they're waiting for their exam, right? Something to kind of key them in to what's going on, right? So we've got any of your providers that you already know. We've potentially got people you see in your chair every single day, right? And then we also have people maybe that you've already seen this year. Who are people that you've already seen this year who maybe were like, I don't know if I want to do this. Oh, I need to save up for this. Anybody have let's wait till like January type people, right? We've got a couple of those who are looking at waiting till January. Here's the thing. When people feel like they can wait and there's no time frame, there's no sense of urgency, right? People just kind of feel like they can start whenever. Now, I'm not huge on fear-based marketing, right? Like, well, if you don't do this, you will die. Like, I'm not huge on like the end all be all, like we need to scare people into wanting to work with us, because that's not totally the vibe either, right? Like, I don't want anybody to come to me who's like really scared. Like, he feels pressured into it. How many of you like being pressured into buying things? Like, how many of you feel, does that feel good when someone's trying to pressure you into doing something, right? But on the flip side, how would you feel if you had this issue, right? If you had some sort of concern, if you had something that you couldn't solve on your own, and you finally found somebody who understood that, right? The idea here is you want to be able to connect with people, but actually connect with them on a deeper level, right? And I would even say like 3 levels deep, right? We want to get people to their I'm done moment. Like, think about your personal I'm done moments. Okay. So what's an I'm done moment? An I'm done moment is you've been doing something for so long and you have just like hit the emptiness of your tank, right? You've been trying to get your business off the ground for so long. You've been having sleepless nights for so long. Your kid's been wetting the bed for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. You've been burning the candle at both ends. You haven't been able to be the partner you want to be. You haven't been able to be the mother you want to be, or the grandmother that you want to be. You haven't been able to be the coworker you want to be, or the friend, or the business owner. In every single area, you feel like you're failing, right? You feel like you cannot win no matter what area that you're working on. And you were like going out to coffee with someone, or you're going out to coffee with a girlfriend, or whoever it is, you're in a Zoom room with me, right? And that person makes you feel like you've been seen, right? It's not, oh, thank you for telling me your problems. Let me tell you all the ways that I could fix this, right? We don't want to like solution vomit on people, right? We actually want them to know that we hear them, we see them, we feel them, we see they're worn out, we see that they're at their bottom, and really figure out what their true I'm done type of moment is, okay? Because when somebody's done, right? When somebody is done, they're ready for something different. They're ready for a solution. They're ready for a change. And so if it's somebody you saw earlier this year, right, who maybe wasn't ready to go for therapy, or maybe it's somebody in your, your chair as a provider who you see all the time, who keeps cracking teeth, who keeps getting implants, who, see fractions, is having issues with cavities, right? They have sleep apnea. Maybe they are going through a really tough time with their health, or they're going through a tough time at home because they're too tired to function and they just can't get it together anymore, right? They're paying for their kid's 3rd time in braces, right? Whatever it is, you guys are all so good at connecting with people. You are. I mean, that's like everybody in this group is a hygienist. You have people's unlimited attention for 45 to 60 minutes or longer, depending, right? How many of you feel like, and you can raise your hands or put it in the chat, if you're in your hygiene chair, right, you've known these patients for years. You know their whole story. You know their, whether they're going on vacation, you make personal notes about them, like you know them, right? How many people do you know by first name, like truly outside of if you saw them at like the grocery store? I used to work in a really small town, and like we'd see patients at the grocery store all the time, and like they would say hi to us, right? They knew us. It was, or we'd see them after work at like the happy hour place, right? They would see us, we would know them. I used to get like probably shouldn't have gotten so emotionally attached to my patients, but emotionally attached to my patients where I'm like, I love this person. Like, no, you're coming back to my schedule. And I'd like be personally offended if they end up in the other hygienist schedule, right? I'm like, no, you're my bestie whose teeth I cleaned, right? But also, did I like used to get like concert tickets and like eighth row tickets for basketball games? Yes. Yes, I did, right? Did I get invited to people's weddings? Yes, I did, right? So those skills can easily, you already have a no like trust factor, right? So those should be translating in your other spaces, right? And so people get afraid. Some of you have already told me this before. You guys get afraid to sell yourselves. You get afraid. The biggest thing I hear is I can ask for money all day for somebody else. But when I have to ask for money for myself, it freaks me the F out, right? Some of you swear, some of you don't. It's fine. Right? Like, so what is it truly that is the problem, right? And we'll talk about that. I want to talk about the obstacles. I want to talk about how to work through that. But right now, I still want to talk about getting the people, right? So we've got referral based. Who are your referral providers that you already know? Here is the secret that I'm like, I want to believe in my heart of hearts, everybody knows this. But if it feels big and scary, you really only need 3 to 5 really good referral sources. 3 good ones, 2 so-so ones, okay? Again, we get 10 to 20 new patients a month. I think we had 24 last month and 22 the month before. I was looking earlier, I can't remember. From my website, from an orthodontist, and from a pediatric dentist. Those are kind of the main 3, right? And then I've got an orthodontist to randomly send, some other dentists who will randomly send. But for the most part, they keep us so busy, we don't need more than that, right? So nurturing, right? So we call it lead nurturing is another way to say it. You don't need 50 referral sources. I mean, you can have it if you want it, but really, if you found your like creme de la creme, who wants to refer to you, and really nurture just those couple relationships, you're not going to be hurting for people coming to you. Okay. And then those of you who are in the chair already, seeing 8-ish patients a day, we know at a bare minimum, the numbers are somewhere around at least 50% of people have periodontal disease, right? 50% of people have some sort of myofunctional type disorder, right? Usually we see those go hand in hand, right? You guys know that. So at least 4 patients a day. And I think that's a low number because I do think there's a higher percentage of people in the dental office who have these issues because I think they tend to have more dental problems. And so people who have more dental problems tend to be in the dental chair more often, right? So let's say 4 at a minimum, right? People a day that you could be looking at, that you could be talking to, that you could be learning more about, that you could be connecting with, right? And like, if you have those friend type relationships with, friendly, same level type relationships with your patients where you can talk to them, level to level, right? Nobody wants to be talked down to, right? You want to meet them where they are at and say, hey, you've been in my chair for a long time, my friend. Like, we've had this stuff going on. I've specialized in other areas. I know this has been a big concern to you. Are you interested in options? Right? That's a really non-confrontational way to really get a feel and check the pulse of the people that you already know. Okay. And then we've got the people that we saw earlier this year. We want to reconnect back with them, right? Hey, we saw you earlier this year. Here's the problems that we saw. I know you were waiting for whatever it was, right? Even if they didn't have a reason. Our pricing is going up in January. If you want to lock in at this price, email us back. Let's talk about what we can do, right? Now, whether or not you choose to raise your prices in January, that is on you. My practice is raising them up to, we're going to increase about $200. 8% tends to be the number that most people don't blink at as far as like increase of services, increase in sale of services. 8% tends to be the number. So, if people really want to take advantage, right, they can get it in December, right? And then in January, you'll increase your prices and those who are in will be in. And the others will kind of fall away. So the other way, all right, so that's the people we know. Okay, those are kind of the organic people. Those are people that we know. And then we've got the new to use. All right. So the new to you type of people, there is a huge network out there. There's a huge network out there. We've got a huge list of people that you could go connect with. You just have to have a little bit of creativity. Okay. So I would consider what we do as kind of an alternative, holistic, right? Kind of physical therapy based type of treatment, right? So there's so many people out there who are so niched that would love to connect with another niched weirdo, right? Somebody else who does something weird that's not mainstream. It's not even that weird, but it's just not mainstream. People don't know enough about it. And you guys can go link up together, right? So we've got chiropractors, we've got lactation consultants, we've got occupational therapists, we've got osteopaths, we've got cranial sacral therapists, we've got cranial fascial therapists, we've got all the different, we have myofascial release therapists, we've got people from the Upledger Institute, we've got people from the Postural Restoration Institute, we've got, the mainstream orthodontists. There's a million orthodontists in every single corner. There is. You guys know that. They don't have to be airway focused. That's like such a myth. That is such a like scarcity minded myth that I absolutely do not stand behind at all. So we've got, who else? Who else are some of your guys' ones that you guys, this last round of boot camp was really good with getting referrals and talking to random people. We've got different appliances, right? We've got Vivos, we've got MSE, we've got ALF, which they don't have a great way to look for them anymore, but that's okay. You can still find them. All right, we've got MyoBrace, you've got MyoMenchi, you've got Healthy Start. There's so many people out there, and you just need 3 of them, right? We just need 3, okay? So that's how we can create and generate new people, all right? Searching your network for people who you haven't connected with, dropping by, you don't have to make a big deal about it, referral cards, and some sort of way to connect with you or some sort of educational material. Bring them some treats, doesn't have to go over the top, and set something up, right? Set something up. Get in front of people. Don't be afraid to talk to people. How many of you feel like you're afraid to talk to people? If you've been in boot camp, you've heard this lecture from me before. All right. You have been lectured, and we like have to put the stick down at some point from me about being afraid. Thank you, Dana. Dana said, haha, not anymore. Amen, sister. So being afraid to talk to people, my question, and whether or not any of you who are still afraid would like to answer this or not, why? Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid to talk to people? Most people don't bite. Toddlers, questionable, but you're not trying to get a referral from a toddler, right? Most people don't bite. The worst somebody could do is like be rude to you, but like, I mean, has anybody like just completely lost their capabilities from someone being rude to them, right? Like, why? I actually think that's worth you guys exploring a little bit, right? Why are you afraid to talk to people, right? A lot of you have a career in talking to people, right? You have spent however many years talking to people every single day. You have friends that you talk to. You have, coworkers that you talk to. You talk to people every single day. So what is it that's so scary about talking to people?
I think it's the imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, David.
Especially when you're talking to doctors.
Yes, right. So that's really good.
That gets in your head.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. We do a whole week on imposter syndrome in boot camp because it is a big part of this, right? But I guess my question would then be, right? So Dana put in here too, I was afraid that they would find out I'm not as smart as I think I am, which is a lie. You're so smart. So are you, Veronica? You've taken how many courses? You have so much knowledge up in that brain, right? So much knowledge in there. And honestly, like, whether or not a doctor thinks I'm smart or not has zero to do with my self-worth, right? Has zero to do. I'm still gonna go home and Isabel's still gonna look me in my eyes and go, I love you, mommy. And then like, clear a table of toys and then be like, I just being silly. Right. So I'm still gonna be myself. I'm still gonna have my girlfriends. I'm still gonna have my business. I'm still gonna have my daughter. I'm still gonna have my mom who loves me and thinks I'm the best ever. Right. Like whether or not like a doctor thinks that I am like the smartest person in the room or not is irrelevant. Right. And having that fear, you're really doing your patients a disservice. You're doing the people in that doctor's office a disservice by not sharing the opportunities with them that you could help them. Right. We're holding back in fear for no reason. Right. We're holding back this fear. And honestly, like I'm in enough Facebook groups with dentists where they're talking about when they graduate from dental school, they know nothing. So I at least know more than all the new dentist graduates, right? I just had a dentist come to one of my CEs who told me this is the first time he's been around for 20 years, the first time I've heard of myofunctional therapy. Right? There's still people out there who've never even heard of it before. And so why wouldn't you be smart enough to talk to them? Right? Just like, specialists, right? There's specialists out there that is their specialty. Do you think the dentist is afraid to go talk to them about their specialty? No. Right? So your self-worth and who you are and what you bring to the table and what you bring to patients has nothing to do with that fear, right? And imposter syndrome is huge. Like I said, we talk about this at boot camps. I'm not gonna go on that big of an imposter syndrome tangent right now, you guys. I know you're really sad, but we know that it's one in three, right? So like women have to work 3 times as much or prove themselves 3 times as more in the workforce than men. And that's just like a straight up, like it's been researched. And so women tend to cower and be lower and feel like they're not as smart or feel like they have to prove themselves 3 times as much that we're capable and that we know things and that we're more than capable to run businesses. We're more than capable to make decisions. We're more than capable to help people, right? So that is a big fear that stops a lot of people, but that's a big fear that we have got to work you through and get you through really fast, because really by not sharing this, by not going to talk to doctors, by not going to get into these offices and have referral sources, by not talking to your patients, like you're really doing them a disservice. You are doing them a disservice. You holding back because of your own fears, right? Like think about your patients with sleep apnea, right? What if you didn't talk to somebody for another year and they came back and they're on a CPAP or their CPAP's worse, or now they have high blood pressure, or now they have other things that have happened because we were too afraid to talk to them, right? Now, people's responsibilities are people's responsibilities, but to even give them that option and that opportunity for education and to be aware that they have options, this feels a little dramatic, but I'll say it because again, it's me. Like it's kind of a form of neglect, right? By not giving people their options, by not letting them know that things are available to them, we're giving them a form of neglect because of our own fear, right? You guys know I'm right. It's all right. Okay, so those I think are the biggest things. Now I want to talk about some obstacles and I want to talk about overcoming them. All right, but referral based. All right, follow back up with your referral providers. People forget about each other all the time, right? We're all going to log off of this webinar. Some of us are going to go to bed. Some of us are going to go eat dinner. Some of us are going to go parent. Some of us have other things that we're going to get to tonight. And we're not going to remember every single thing. That's why you took notes, right? So if you drop something off somewhere a couple months ago, and you're not the forefront of their mind, you might just need to get to the forefront of their mind again, right? So follow up with your people, right? Talk to people in your chair every single day. Talk to somebody, make a goal for yourself. Honestly, like if they seem to think there's somebody very interested, schedule them in your chair. Schedule a discovery call, schedule an evaluation, schedule a way to connect with them, because again, they're going to leave the office with your business card. They're going to get in the car. Their, spouse or kid or boss or somebody's going to call them. They're going to get on the phone. They're going to go back to work. They're going to go do these things. That business card's going to get lost. You feel like crap because you're like, why didn't they follow up with me? They just completely forgot about it. They just spaced it, right? And all of a sudden 6 months go by, I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to do that, but I lost your card. And you're like, oh, it's not because you hated me, right? So don't let them leave without closing that loop, okay? Then we're gonna go talk to anybody that we've already seen this year, right? Anybody that we've already talked to, anybody who's been in our world, maybe any sort of like, we call them like lurkers, okay? Maybe did a discovery call, maybe they said they were interested, maybe there's somebody who emailed. Maybe one step further, they paid you for a consultation, but they haven't followed through, right? Follow back up, let them know, hey, there's, if you do this tomorrow, there's 16 days left. Wait, tomorrow's the 14th, 31st, 17th. Oops, I said the wrong number earlier. There was 18 days left from today. 17 days left in the year. Prices are going up in January. I know we talked about this. Where are you at? What's going on, right? And then, right, connecting people on a deeper level, getting them to their I'm done moment. When you do have people in your chair, when you are doing an evaluation, if you're able to connect with people and figure out their I've hit my rock bottom, I'm done with feeling this way, I'm done with suffering moment, then they're going to buy whatever you put out for them. If you can dig the layers to figure out the true why of what they need and why they haven't been able to get there, they're going to be like, run my card. Ask me how I know. That's what we do all the time, right? It's not about me constantly telling you about how much I can help you. It's me asking you, what kind of help do you need? What are the pain? Like, what are the pain points? What's the suffering? What's been truly going on? What made you pull out your card to get to this appointment today? Right? And what's going to make them pull out their card at the end of your appointment to have them pay you? Okay. All right. We feeling pumped? We feeling motivated? We feeling excited? We have any light bulbs of like somebody that you can go connect with tomorrow? It's Thursday. You can go connect with people tomorrow. All right. So some of the obstacles that you guys are going to run into, we've talked about them a little bit already, right? So in the chat, really, or, raise your hands. What do you feel like what is the biggest fear about getting somebody to pay you in December? I wrote some stuff down about what I think people run into, right? But I want to know from you guys so we can talk through it. If there's anything you can think of. Good, Ashley, you're feeling motivated. Ashley, this is the first time that you get to be in my world, so I'm glad that you feel that way. Oh, and Veronica, you got cookies ordered. Perfect, I love that. Okay, so some of the stuff that I hear a lot from people, nobody wants to pay in December. That's a lie. I've already made like $30,000 in December, and they all paid, right? So people will pay, again, when we have a sense of urgency, when we have a sense of a little bit of scarcity, right? Hey, January 1, this is going up. Get in while it's hot, right? You do not have to discount your services. You do not have to discount it to get them in. But you could reverse discount and say the prices it's going up, right? And if you decide to go up in January, that's up to you. However you feel about it, however you feel about it, all right? Yeah, there is people being afraid to put themselves out there and asking for the consultation. I feel like I already ranted about that. Do you guys feel like we covered that one pretty good? I ranted on that, forgetting I was already going to talk about this. So, right, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. There's literally nothing wrong with you. You have friends. Some of you have significant others or husbands, children who like you, right? You're likable, right? So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, ask for a consultation, follow up, be somebody who follows up, right? You can follow up without being annoying, right? You can follow up without feeling like you're a burden on somebody. but don't be afraid to follow up. Okay. And then we've got the people are afraid to ask for money. All right. I know some of you have already worked through this in this workshop. I know some of you are working through this. And some of you, this is probably the first time you are hearing me talk about this. Being afraid to ask for money is the biggest thing you need to get over tonight. Right? Well, I just don't know, like, am I worth the money? Maybe you put your feelings around money into it, or what you're asking her for money or for your pricing, right? Like you don't want to, you're like, well, I don't know that I could afford my own services, right? Well, if you got a couple clients to sign, yeah, you could. Right? There's people in every price bracket. There's people who need you in every possible way. Kourtney Kardashian did therapy. She could afford it, right? Like your Kourtney Kardashians out there. There is people who can always afford you, right? You can offer financing. We talk a lot about that, right? There's ways to really get people in your door, in your world, who want to pay you. And it doesn't matter whether or not you think you can afford your own pricing. This isn't about you. Right? Making assumptions about people's incomes, making assumptions about what other people can afford. Like, what do they say about assumptions? People who assume make an ass out of you and me, right? Like, we don't need to make asses out of any of ourselves, right? Don't make assumptions around people. Just don't do it. You will save yourself so many like wheel spins again, right? That patient who took your business card and it fell down the crack in their car between like the glove box and the seat, and they forgot and they couldn't find it, and da da da. And if you felt like you really connected with them, why didn't they call me? Why didn't they call me? Right? A date you thought went well and like the other person didn't, right? Or whatever. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Nothing. They like put the wrong digit of your phone number in there, or like something happened with like their dog, or whatever it is. It has nothing to do with you, right? And our self-worth isn't tied to every single business card that we hand out. So we can't be afraid, and we can't attach emotion to asking for money. Money's not supposed to be emotional. Money is an exchange of energy from one person to the other. They're paying for a service, right? And you are providing that service. You're providing all of your time, all of your energy, all of your skills, right? Your years of skills for the low, low price of whatever it is you offer, right? So here's really the deeper question. Why are you afraid? What is your true fear? Is that really true? Right? Even if you went worst case scenario, right? Which I don't love to do, but some of you need to go there sometimes. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Probably where a lot of you are right now. People keep saying no. Right? What's the best that can happen? You go out and you do a presentation, and the next day you get 5 referrals, Dana Moon. Like, put yourself out there and look what happened. Right? Some of you said yes to business bootcamp already and like tripled and quadrupled your incomes. Got a couple people who made more in 1 month of boot camp than they made the entire year. There's like 4 of them. It's crazy what you do when you put yourself out there and you put your confidence out there and you don't get in your own way. So that is what I have to say, my friends. Any questions, any thoughts, any fears that you want me to like ninja through? Any new kind of like, oh yeah, I should go follow up with that person. Okay, I'm going to talk to this many people in my chair over the next 2 weeks. Anybody have anything that they can think of?
I have a question.
I've had a couple recently. Oh, sorry. Is Ashley talking?
Ashley,
That's
what did
okay.
you say? Yeah, Ashley, you want to go, and then Veronica?
I just was wondering if you had suggestions for what kind of like business material should go to a possible referral provider. Like, do you take along cards or brochures, or what do you like to do?
So we just do referral cards, and we either do like a brochure, or we have like a one-sided, two-sided, but like single page rack card that has like what myofunctional therapy is on the back, and it has a little self-assessment on it. I keep it really, really easy, really simple. So just, again, less paperwork, less things to lose. They don't always know what to give. So I don't give multiple things like referral cards and one other thing, right? Like whether it's a brochure that tailors to their practice, like an orthodontic, pediatric, or like an adult sleep apnea TMJ brochure, or anymore, we've even more simplified it, front and back rack card that could pretty much go to anybody, and then the referral card that they could send in. Let's see. Oh, do you guys want to answer this question? Or you want me to answer this question? Do you do package deals and not pay per session? Let's see. Ashley and Veronica, you guys both got that. So we do packages. I hands down 100%, 1000%, 1,000,000%. I actually have a video about why I do packages versus individual sessions. So I've never, not a single time in my entire career have done a session by session. So anybody who says, no, people won't pay for it, that's a lie, because I've probably sold a couple thousand at this point, right? So, but here's the thing. Oh, Vita just said definitely packages. Before boot camp, I did sessions and it failed big time, and now she does packages. Here's the thing. It's a kind of a twofer, maybe a threefer. As you guys know me, I just keep making stuff up as I go. One, the energy of having to ask for money every single session when you're already afraid to ask for money isn't great. Like every single time, like if you just have to ask for money once and like we never have to talk about it again, everybody's a lot more relaxed, right? And saying 2,500 versus $25 took me the same amount of breath, right? But it's whatever energy or emotion that we put behind it. So we do packages, and part of it is we tell them like, hey, like this is all inclusive. We give you the best of ourselves for 6 to 8 months. We hold your hand. We are there for you side by side every step of the way. And we really value staff, right? We build in how much value that we're going to bring to them. And you're not so worried every single time, is this person going to show up? Is this person going to show up? Is this person going to show up? Right? Because if they don't show up, then all of a sudden you went from whatever, for your business to like, you're just relying on people every single hour of every single day to pay you to make kind of your bottom line. Right? So being able to, it also helps you bring on less patients overall, right? So you don't get burnt out. That's another way that we like to do it. And then it also stops people from dropping off after they get their like tongue tied released, right? It stops people from falling off the wagon after they think that maybe like their first round of like symptoms has been taken care of, right? So we do offer, so Veronica, you said adults need to find ways to afford treatment for the kids and not themselves. In my practice, we do offer like a 2-for-1, right? Because we do see that like a kid and a parent, they're the same. So we do them at the same price. If they add a family member after that, we say like $500 per additional, and then we'll change like the time that we spend with them. But usually, or if it's like 2 siblings, I always make the joke that like, we won't make you pick your favorite child. We'll see them both at the same price. So that's what we do in my practice. We always do packages. Commitment, time, energy, not having to ask for money every single time, not constantly having to rely on people, because people get sick, people on vacation, people do things, right? People are humans. And so like having to constantly rely on so many humans versus like, hey, here's the deal, this is what we got. It really like shifts the energy around. And then as far as people who haven't finished treatment, for anybody who's wondering that, I've had less than 5 in 7 years. Less than 5 have ever, and they're usually like teenagers, and they get to like session 10. Like, I don't think I've ever had anybody just like, at least not get to session 10, maybe 9, but like, they pretty much all finish it up. So, let's see. Ashley said, okay, I feel like much more people are likely to agree to 2,400 for 12-second passions than 200 per session. Yeah. I mean, that's what I recommend. I'm glad that that's your pricing, that you didn't tell me it was like $1,200, because that would have been a whole different rant that I don't know that we all have the time for today. You need to price yourself at your value. Okay, we do have time for it. You need to price yourself at your value. All right, you need to price yourself at your value. You haven't been doing this for a couple months or a couple years or whatever. Like, you have been in people's mouths for years and years and years and years and years. Like, and the other thing is, you're doing the field a disservice. When you're undervaluing yourself, then like you're doing the rest of your friends out here trying to crush it too a disservice. Right? And again, like, there's this story, right? And I think I've tell it a lot, but it's the story about, like, there's this ship, right? And there's like something's wrong with something on the ship. And they call the guy, right? They've all tried to fix it, they try to fix it. They call the expert comes in, he finds a spot on the pipe exactly, and he hits it with his hammer one time and he says it's fixed, right? And he gives them a bill for like $1,000 or $10,000, whatever. Again, it doesn't matter, right? And they're like, $10,000, like that took you 2 seconds, and like you just hit it that one place for a hammer. And he's like, yeah, and it actually took me 30 years of experience, all my time, value, and expertise, everything I've been building up over time to learn exactly where to hit on that pipe with the type of hammer. That's what you just paid for, right? And it's the same thing. Can't tell you how many people, like, mouths I've looked in at this point, right? Like, I have enough like mouth street cred for life. Okay. So, I can, like, I have no problem charging what I charge, right? And again, there's people at every single price point, right? And I've seen people in multiple countries. Okay. I've seen people in Nigeria who've paid my prices. I've seen people in Ireland. I've seen people in Germany. I've seen people in England. I've seen people in all sorts of places, right? I think I had somebody up in Denmark, right? So everywhere, people will pay you when they know. I mean, if you had something that was really like deeply like needed, like you needed something, right? Like, you'd be willing to pay whatever it took, right? That's what we are really looking for. So, and yes, Vita, thank you. I love this. We will attract people who want to pay lower and ask for discounts constantly if we lower our value. I stopped attracting people like that after I raised my prices, and people don't ask for discounts anymore, right? It used to be every single patient. Yeah, right? So you stop having people who waste your time. We mirror back, like, people mirror back what we put out there, right? So if we're putting out this, like, I'm not good enough, I need discounts, I like have to think about things, I'm really hesitant, I don't trust myself, I don't know if this is good for me, I don't know if this is right for me. Those are the kind of people that we're going to attract back to us, right? Like, we attract mirrors of ourselves. So when you put out the energy of being confident, knowing what you're doing, and knowing and being secure in the value you provide, the people who also value are going to come. I love it. Yay. Okay. Couple good rants in there. I can't do a workshop without a couple good rants. So thank you guys for letting me do some rants. All right, my friends, any other questions? Anybody feeling like really stumped? Like, they're like, okay, you gave me some ideas, but like, I really don't know where I'm going to find my next patient. Anybody need to like brainstorm through it? Or do you guys feel motivated? Like, you can go find that client tomorrow, like Sherry's going to close tomorrow.
I feel motivated. I just am feeding my own right now from my hygiene chair. So all of the other, the 50 offices that I've gone to and gone back to, I've gotten 2 referrals.
And they're going to keep coming.
I'm
Right.
feeding them from my own hygiene chair right now of people that I've been talking to over the last year that are coming back in 6 months. And, now I'm like, so they're coming to me, trickling in, but all from my hygiene chair, basically.
Good. Yeah. And the other thing to remember too is, and Vita and I have talked a lot about this, the worst time to try and get a referral is when you're desperate for a referral, right? So like Sherry feeding her own referrals from her hygiene chair patients right now, taking the pressure off of anybody else and just feeding it here, all of a sudden it's just gonna go bam, 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 right? These people are gonna come in because we're not putting that pressure constantly out there, and we're creating things for ourselves, and then everything else just kind of flows in after that. Yeah, and actually, Sherry, I'll text you because I want to know if you sent that follow-up email.
I did.
Good. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Anybody else? Any kind of a couple newbies in here who you had some questions maybe you were afraid to ask? All right. Well, this recording will be available if you like whoever registered, it'll be available. You'll get the replay. And then it will also be available in the $7 a week membership. So if you want a link to that and those trainings that go in there, you know, let me know. You guys are so sweet. Vita. You're the best, Megan. Life changer. Hashtag you're monster. Yeah, you guys are monsters. I love you. Yes, Ashley. Okay, you've got 3 CompuVals coming up this month. Gonna land them all. Yes. If you don't have my like free training on how to close sales, let me know. I will get that to you to give you a little extra motivation. Go close them. Go confident. And then yeah, if you guys want to connect with me on anything else, send me a message. Like I said, there's lots of ways to work with me, and lots of different price points. So we try to make it available to all. So, all right, you guys, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. Happy holidays to those who don't. And then we're going to do another workshop, probably the beginning of the year. We've got several workshops coming up. We might go through the 7-step sales framework, supercharging social media. What else? Mastering sales objections. That's one that always trips you guys up. Me too, though. I still work on it. So if any of those are like super exciting to you, let me know and we'll do that one next. So, all right, my friends, have a great night. Thanks for coming out, and I will chat with you all soon. Bye.